there's literally so many steps in between me getting reported. You see what I'm saying? And mind you, this is not even when I was actively scheming on my evil genius shit. Like, no, I was literally just out here trying to exist, trying to go fill my water bottle and not cry. No, but tell me, why is it so normalized? When people meet me, there's like one of two ways, right? Number one is like, oh, because I'm a kind person, but I'm also kind of nicey nice. Like I default to my politeness training when I first meet people. You know what that means. Like be extra. Oh, thank you so much. And oh my gosh, nice to meet you. Like all those kind of stuff, right? Yeah, I default to the politeness training. So then either one people take a look at that and they think, oh, she's such a cute little sheep. I can let me try something on her. Like basically, yeah, like see how much I can get for free and basically like test your boundaries and stuff. Or number two is when I will literally be sitting there depressed, just trying to drink water and eat pizza bagels. No, literally drink water and mind my business, drink water and mind my business. I go drink water and mind my business. Okay. So yeah, there's times when I'm literally just, like you say, minding my business and people will be like, oh my God, she's scheming. Oh no, what is she up to? Because at those times, I'm even more withdrawn into myself because I'm just trying to conserve my energy, like at the end of the day, when you're depressed, like, bro, your energy needs to go to food, water, getting out of bed, like functioning, like bare minimum functioning, so that you can't be that cheerful person who then goes, oh my God, hi everybody, my name is this, I'm so excited to see you, oh my God, how can I help you, oh my goodness, can I carry that for you? Like, no. Like, obviously, like if you're a person that has to do that to survive or for your job, then yeah, you can turn it on sometimes when you must. But if you're at the last dregs of your battery, like if your battery is already at 0.5, hell no do you have energy to be performing all those niceties. So anyway, yeah, let me just do no preface, let me just get into it. Yeah, so there was a time when I was going on, I had left my parents? Yeah, I had left my parents' house to go move into a new place, right? And then I got a new job. Um, Actually, yeah, I won't say any of the details, but anyway, I got a new job, right? And it's like I was going through, a kind of, major life transition, if you will, at that point. So at the time, I was just sitting at my desk, being depressed and, just eating my morning bagel or whatever, just trying to get through the day and, do whatever was asked of me, right? But at the time, my coworker, she was, is the word upset, disappointed? I don't know. But she had to bring something to me, but it was only after the fact. Like sorry, this is out of order. So what happened was, my depression itself trying to function on the job, right? And then, we had to do some events, some work events, whatever, and I wasn't properly being smiley and engaging and cheerful. Mind you, there was only one person that day who actually asked after my health and didn't just immediately judge me, but whatever. I know this is how it goes, but let me just tell you the story, right? So my coworker, we managed the room together, right? Um, she had reported me to the manager, the overhead guy, that I wasn't, didn't want to be there. I was, just whatever, just things like that. I don't want to be there. I don't care, or whatever, right? And when I found out about this, and we were talking about it, and after the fact, and she had explained to me oh yeah, it just looked like you were uninterested. You were super at distance and detached and stuff. You didn't look like you were happy to be there, involved. And so she was explaining that she had asked her friend, um, down the hall, she asked her friend, what did she think of me, blah, 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 and the friend agreed. So they both went to the the hiring person, whatever, like the manager over a guy, and reported me to the guy, right? And I was like, what the hell now? Why my life being difficult, right? And so I asked the girl, like, the coworker, the original coworker, like, why didn't you just ask me what was going on, Because obviously, if you have personal things going on, you don't want to just blah them to people, you don't want to just blah, you don't just spill your information. First of all, it's not safe. Second of all, it's not, what's it called? It's not graceful. I don't know what the word is. Like, you don't just go spilling all your personal, like, your personal trauma and stuff to people, right? But anyway, so the fact of the matter was, I was like, okay, but why didn't you just ask me first? And basically she said, like, she was scared to approach me, like, so basically saying that, I was, like, scary to approach, like maybe I was, whatever, you get what I mean, right? So still to this day, like, I do my best to get over things, whatever, but to this day, I still feel some kind of way about it because I'm like, well, you could have just approached me like a human being, though. Like, I have feelings. It's like, it really surprises me the amount to which that people seem to, am I too close? People seem to not realize, like, people do things for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Like, people act the way they do for a reason. Like, if somebody's sad, there's a reason. If somebody's angry, there's a reason. Like, I don't know why this initial step seems to be so, lost on people. Like, why do they immediately jump to conclusions? I don't know. It's like in Gravity Falls, the old man, he's like, your knees must be sore from jumping to conclusions. Yo, that was my favorite. That old guy, he's the best. Like, that's me. Anyway. Um, yeah, so I'm just like, there's literally so many steps in between me getting reported. You see what I'm saying? And mind you, this is not even when I was actively scheming on my evil genius shit. Like, no, I was literally just out here trying to exist, trying to go fill my water bottle and not cry. No, but tell me, why is it so normalized? Anyway, just I was struggling. Okay, I was trying to shrug to my job because you know how it is. You know how it is. If you show up, you weren't happy enough. If you leave, you're letting your coworkers down. So no matter what you do, you're in a hole. Okay, that's just how the system is designed. Okay, so yeah, so that was number one, right? Is that like somehow me like this sitting here, trying to function is somehow intimidating and threatening to people. And yes, at that time I was on I'm not talking to anybody shit. Like, I was like, nobody's screwing me over again. Like, I was on that, so perhaps I was broadcasting that scary stuff. Whatever, I don't care. Like, I don't care, Because the fact of the matter is, I don't treat people like that. I always ask them first, or I withhold my, sorry, I don't have the words today, but or I keep my judgment to myself until it's actually verified by things I've seen and observed on a consistent basis. I don't just, oh my God, like, make conclusions like, oh my God, she hates me or whatever. Like, no, bitch, no. Like, from what? Like, I hate that they don't pull stuff out of your butt. Like, don't do it. It's annoying. Anyway, moving on to number two. Number two is that, like I said, because I'm like nice, but like I said, with my default training, and I'm very kind. So some people see the little I don't know how to say it, because you're not gonna believe me if I tell you I'm a very sweet person, but because there's sides to it, there's levels. But anyway, what I'm saying is, the initial and general impression can be like, oh my God, she's so cute, she's so little, and that kind of stuff. So then some people will test the boundaries and be like, okay, like, how much of a pushover is she? Are we gonna get mileage out of this or not, right? And even when I have relayed the situation to my cousin, she had told me, like, yep, that person is testing you. And I was like, what? Whatever do you mean? Right? Because in my mind, it's inconceivable. It's not even a concept to like test people like that, because I consider it to be so disrespectful, you know. But then it's like, my problem is I constantly forget that people aren't like me. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever my standard of integrity is not the same as yours. It's not the same as theirs. It's not the same as other people I meet, right? So just because I hate things like testing people, right, that doesn't mean other people are above it, or whatever the word is, right? Somehow that naivety, whatever you want to call it, you know, is my downfall a little bit. Because, like, you know, it's so funny. It's like other people think I'm on schemes, right? When they're the ones doing schemes on me. Anyway, so yeah, after those little tests are all said and done, right, I react like a normal person, or I react like a depressed person, right? And I get upset. And I'm just like, what the hell is this? What the hell? What the hell they on me for? I didn't do this. I didn't do that. Blah, 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 blah. Like, why are you on me like a hawk? I swear. They be like this with their little binocular goggles. I'm not kidding. Even my cousin confirmed. Like, she said, such is the reality of a black woman in the workplace, right? So anyway, you know, like, you get way more eyes on you than your counterpart coworkers who's like white or just anything that's not black, right? And to the point where when people would compliment me, like at that workplace, I'd be like, oh my God, you heard what? What did you hear? From who? Like, I would be literally internally panicking, because I already know what it's like for people to be talking about me behind my back, you know? The first time that happened, it was major and it was bad. You know what I'm saying? And I was made to still have to, like, be making corrections for that, basically, right? And perform the happiness and cheerfulness and the smile and whatever. Anyway, so what was I saying? I was saying I forget that other people are not above things like testing me, even though I hate it. And I would never do that to people. Other people still do that to me, right? And then when I react, I get upset. Like, I cry about it. Like, yeah, let's just be honest, I cry because, you know, shit is wild. And then, but when you actually, like, you know, advocate for yourself, speak up for yourself, say it plainly and clearly, you know, you're being measured by unfair standards, blah, 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 right? Then they come at you like, what? What are you saying? This is done with love. Like, we care about you. We have a vision for you. You know, we want to see this play out, blah, blah, blah. You have so much potential. Stop coasting, blah, 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 blah. I'm just like, coasting? Where the fuck did you pull that out of? Right? So anyway, it's just like even when you do advocate for yourself, it's like thrown back at you in your face. And like, you gaslight it out of it. Like, you're made to look like you're too emotional, you're sensitive, you're overreacting, when in reality you're just reacting to manipulation. That's standard response to manipulation. I have a brain, I have a heart, I have feelings. I know when things are wrong. Even babies know when things are wrong. You don't even have to be intelligent to know. Like, you don't even have to have developed intelligence to know. Anyway, oh yes, and for anybody that's like, oh yes, that's the way of the world, like, goodbye. Like, just get off my channel then. If you're one of the people who functions without emotions, you don't need to be here. This is not for you. You're never gonna understand what I'm saying. I have feelings, and I'm not ever gonna argue for having them. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna sit here and argue with logic people about why I react to things the way I do. You know, about my very human reaction to just horrible things, right? So now that that's out the way, yeah. So, and then I guess we could also say number 3 is that there was another situation where I had invited my friends over to my house to, like, come support me at a time when, you know, I need support. You know, like I said, we just be trying to eat, trying to drink water, trying to wake up at a reasonable time, you know. And so I called them over, like, hey guys, can you help me out, blah, blah, blah. But it turned into a whole, you know what? I don't want to talk about that. It's just made me sad. Anyway, that thing too was turned into a whole like test model, like jump, bitch, jump, like And I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I don't have the energy to just jump to people. And to, you know what I'm saying when they say jump, and they're like, how high? And I'm like, no, I'm not jumping. I'm sitting right here, right? You'll just have to read between the lines and understand the metaphor or whatever, right? Understand the figurative speech, okay? So anyway, that was another case of testing like how much do I care about them, and I'm like, bro, this is not the time. Like, I do not have any energy to jump through hoops. Like, I literally said that in the beginning, and then somehow I was made to feel like I'm like the bad guy. And anyway, yeah, I'm not going into that. Just forget I said that. Anyway, yeah, so that's how much I've pieced together. Like the one of two ways that people perceive me and how they act or react accordingly, right? And like I said, even if you stand up for yourself, it just becomes a whole, it just falls in on itself, because then people, you know, you're overreacting, you're emotional, you're blah, 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 blah. And guess what happened? And then after that, we had another work meeting. Well, you always have the work meetings, right? The work meetings where they act, woke, but they're really just perpetuating the same systems that we get away from to try to survive. Anyway, so yeah, we had one of those meetings, and they said something like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna what was it, like, scale down the forces or whatever, so that basically, you know what I'm saying, cut people out. What do they say? Trim off the fat or whatever they like to say, right? For people who don't mesh well with the team." And I was like, "Oh, yep, I'm going. Like, I'm getting left." I was like, "Oh, yep, that means me. I already know." Like, I was like, I'm not dumb, bro. Like, I understand the corporate speak or whatever you call it. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes I be looking around at those meetings. I'm like, am I dumb? Like, why is everybody else happy with this? I'm like, did you hear what the man just said? He just said 1/3 of y'all about to get fired, and you're all just like la 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 la. Literally, it's like anyone with a brain has to go. Goodbye. No, I'm not serious. I mean, I'm so serious. That's literally what, like, he actually said. Like, anybody with half a brain who does not like the way the system is run, who does not want to uphold the system, is out, right? So yeah, it's super unfair. It's not right. But that's how traditional jobs just get run. And mind you, let me make a disclaimer or advocate for myself a little. I don't do anything wrong to people. I don't do anything bad to people. I don't come up here and start drama and say, "Oh, she said, he said, they said, we said this," but no, I don't do that. I don't pick up people's information. I do not mine people for data. I do not make it my business to know other people's business. I'm a very private and respectful person. Um, I don't run, those little information mills that people like to do. Like when they always have that, like in those spy things, they have the covert informant. Like in Spy Family, they have that guy who's like at the desk and he sells like information to Lloyd. Anyway, it's kind of like that. There's people who function like that, right? I'm not the social currency miner person, okay? Like, I don't mine for information. Like, I just want to mind my business and go home. But, even that is a problem. That's why I can't stand, like, traditional jobs. It's because of the performancy aspect, right? And it's also why people who, how they love to say, like, theater kids and stuff, are really good in certain roles, because they know how to perform and they can find the art in it. Like, they can find the fun in it, right? And there's also people who are outside of, this, who it's easier to ignore the system, or maybe not ignore, it's easier to inhabit the system, or they just have a completely different experience because they're not black, right? So, like, there were other people who I met at, that workplace, and they were like, "Oh my God, like, this is where I'm meant to be." And I'm just like, wait, so me and you simultaneously, like, I had the worst year, like the worst time of my life, and you had the best year of your life. just like, whoa, how does this coexist? Like, ah. So it just reminds me that, and like I said, take this with a grain of salt. You know, this is my experience, okay? My experience alone with my background, my upbringing, my family system, my internal system, my psychological makeup, my own tolerance and capacity, right? Very, very, very different to the other people's makeup, tolerance, background, capacity, all those different factors. So that's why even though I was miserable there and like extorted and extracted from blah 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 blah, and it was absolutely, yeah, just miserable, right? Another person could still say, oh my god, this is my home now. You know, good for them, right? I'm rid of that place, so good for them. But it's kind of wild how, you know, what could be my worst experience could be somebody else finding their home. So just understand, I don't speak for everybody. I only speak for myself. Um, I don't ever attempt to speak for anybody else. Even when I speak in generalities, you know, everything must be taken with a grain of salt, and you know that I'm only speaking from my personal experience and my personal background and all that it's made up of, right? Um, I think that's all I wanted to say. Oh, also the thing where if you don't talk much, if you don't readily give up information, people automatically think that you're like a super spy and you're hiding stuff. Granted, you do gotta become like a strategist when you've had to survive certain situations, and the best way to not get screwed over is to be, you know. But anyway, nah, this is pretty much long enough. Hope you know, if anyone has related to this, maybe you feel seen in some way. I don't know. This is really upsetting. I don't even know why I guess I just needed to vent and see if anybody else feels this way. So let me know, I guess, or don't. It's fine.